Hey, what's going on YouTube? Kenny here. So today we're going to talk about AMD, of course, and if you didn't know and if you're new to this channel, I only show one stock here and it's AMD. Well, I'll probably start shilling more stocks, but I overtly shill AMD because it's my highest conviction play for this year. So with all that said, AMD did go up 4.06% today, so let's go ahead and take a look at the charts. So we did say that the 88 was like the bottom of this channel, and it definitely held. And it held really strong. So a lot of people think that, that this was a little bit of a rebalancing for the semiconductor space, and we'll go into an article that kind of talks about that. But just know, we saw a bunch of hits here on 88. So we were relatively sure that this was just a bounce. Got a little bit scary here, but obviously you can see it bounced right off the 100 SMA, which is where we called the buyout. We said buy AMD. Pretty popular video, actually. I think it got almost 2,000 views at this point. So, I mean, for us, that's super popular. Okay, anyways, point is, where are we going from here? If you've followed my videos, I think, if we get to 98, you definitely want to sell one of your tranches if you've built positions out like we have. And then you hold for 118 like we previously talked about. That said, if we do get a little bit of retracement here, if we hit 98 and get another rejection, we will have sold one tranche off and then look to rebuy at 88 again. And rinse and repeat until this thing gets to 118. So yeah, price target's still 118, 120 for the end of the year. Maybe even 200 if things work out really well for some of the spaces that we're considering. So I do want to go over to one article and then just kind of go over some thoughts that we had in the Slack chat. So this article is by Timothy Green. He says that AMD has been steadily gaining market share from the market leader Intel across the board since the company launched its first chips, the Zen architecture chips, in 2017. But while demand for AMD processors remains strong, I wouldn't even say strong, I would say unlimited at this point, shortages have allowed Intel to recapture some of its lost market share. So it's showing 20% down to 19.3, 20% down to 19% in the notebooks, and then the desktop on top. Thing is, server growth did happen, okay? And I mean, while you don't want to see any reduction in market share, I mean, overall, revenue or top line is very important. More important, I would say, than this. Okay. These are highly curated numbers. And so I won't go into too much of this, but it says AMD relies on third-party foundries. Everybody knows TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor, for sure, but rely on these third-party foundries because it costs AMD because it can only sell so many chips because of manufacturing capacity, et cetera, et cetera. So they're beholden to other people to manufacture, and he goes into like Intel doesn't have to, et cetera, et cetera. But on this channel, the channel where we show AMD, we always look to defend AMD. So let's look at what Timothy Green is doing and how his portfolio ranks against ours, guys. Okay, let's do it. So here's Timothy Green, okay? And you say, okay, 9.9% with 63% success rate. That's reasonable, Kenny. Okay, let's play this game, guys. All right, so if that is reasonable, let's look at what his trades are, okay? This is the same guy who told you, so this is GME, GameStop. For some reason, he decided he wanted to start coverage on GameStop. So he's saying sell here and sell here. So what do you think was happening here? So he was part of that. He's part of those homies that were telling you to sell because he was trying to, put that downward pressure on it. And then all of a sudden, up here, he's saying to buy. I mean, like, this is catastrophic. I mean, this is like, in terms of narrative, you can only imagine what this guy is trying to do, right? Basically, what I'm suggesting is his narrative is for sale. So, and if that doesn't prove the point, then let's look at IBM. I mean, look at all these buy ratings, really? Like, how many times are you going to put a buy rating? Are you even thinking about where you should be buying or selling? Like, it doesn't make any sense. How many positions has he closed out? Like 0. He has 11 out of 41% success rate here, but obviously he probably has some friends that work at IBM, or he has a lot of IBM stock. Either way, he's definitely co-opted. I can run down this list, but It's basically the same shit. And so you say, oh, well, Kenny, it's easy to say, like put your money where your mouth is. I mean, I don't have a long history, but I mean, obviously my success rate's better than his, like right now, 93% and 55%, whatever. The thing is, it's just I'm not beholden to anybody, and plus I don't have to make plays. I don't have to write an article, right? So just be careful when you see articles like this attacking a company or even looking like it's mildly in the middle. Generally, maybe they might not be. So just a thought, think for yourself. If you know anything about this channel or what we represent, it's basically do your own damn research, do your own due diligence. 1, creates more conviction on your trade. 2, you'll be happier with yourself. And if you don't want to just park your money in an index fund and you want to do it yourself, you need to give yourself a competitive edge. And it only comes by doing your own due diligence and really thinking for yourself. Don't listen to this guy. I'm an idiot. I never claimed to be awesome or anything like that. I'm just a dude on YouTube talking about stocks. That said, there is a smarter person than me when it comes to AMD, and that person lives on our Slack chat. So Angel here was talking about the divergence that showed up last Friday. So we caught this last Friday too, and it just confirmed our kind of suspicion. So just to show you, we did see this little bit of divergence on Wednesday, Thursday when we were talking about thinking about buying, right? But what happened was here there's a clear downward trend here from Intel and a clear upwards trend here from AMD, which is notable because again in the semiconductor space it's very competitive. So when one goes up, the other one has to go down. There's only so much portfolio room for semiconductors in somebody's portfolio. So that said, the hedge fund managers typically only want to be invested in one. All right. So I wanted to go over some of the stuff that we did talk about, though, kind of highlight some stuff. Hold on a second here. So we want to make sure we're in the right channel. If you're new to this channel, we do everything in one take. So, so there we go. All right, that was us talking about that. Don't worry, guys. I'll find it. This will be easy. Okay, 4 replies. Here we go. All right. Okay, so actually this is still going to be not enough. Okay, there. All right, whatever. So I asked him about profit margin. So basically I was trying to forecast long-term growth and see if there was a trajectory for that profit margin to increase. And we had a really interesting kind of talk here. He says currently AMD is capacity constrained, and we know that. We just talked about that. They cannot produce enough chips to fulfill demand. So they have to be very strategic on what it is that they produce. He said also, Microsoft and Sony are very important customers. At a time when AMD is cash-strapped, their custom design dollars help subsidize the development of those CPUs and GPUs so much that AMD would like to put all the resources in producing high-margin chips. Lisa still has to take Jim and Satya's calls and promise to do her best to get them that additional allocation. So basically, they're kind of constrained to doing the whole Sony and Xbox chips, even though they're low margins. But because of personal relationships and professional relationships and obviously overarching agreements and subsidiary money that was inflowed towards AMD during the development process. It says traditionally Intel had a brand recognition and performance edge over AMD. Obviously, the situation has reversed, and AMD is now the performance king, basically. No teenager would be caught building a gaming computer with an Intel computer. So that is a market shift for sure. I mean, when I was younger, definitely when my homies were building computers, it was an Intel chip for sure. 480 and all that other stuff. I just aged myself. So while the analysts are expecting AMD to have lower Q4 due to the millions of console chips they had to supply, total margin was maintained by 2 factors: gaining share in a high margin segment, servers and laptops, and high-end gaming computers, and losing share in the low-end computers. Essentially what we're talking about here is the fact that, Again, Lisa had to make these chips, or AMD. I said Lisa, like Lisa's AMD. Might as well trying to pump that cult up for her. Anyways, basically, they're beholden to that, and that's fair. That's like you have to be loyal to the folks that have kind of got you there, if you will. Anyways, it says Intel had taken a victory lap, pointing out that they took market share from AMD. Well, this is true. It actually looks like they took share in the low-end computer when AMD decided not to compete due to supply constraints. Sorry. Dang, man. Anyways, okay, so you get the point, right? So basically AMD didn't choose to compete where Intel was taking market share. So this has a lot to do with this article when this guy says, hey, look at this, but look, servers, right? Anyways, let's continue. Let's try to continue. Disclaimer, I work for Sony PlayStation, but this opinions expressed are my own. I don't have any hardware insider information. I'm a software guy. So let's leave that at that. I think Lisa's doing well. While the capacity improves, she should concede the share low and grab, blah, blah. Okay, we just basically talked about that. I think the most interesting thing going on in the semis market is a lot of money is leaving AMD for Intel. I think the market is expecting Intel to get its act together and start executing. Many people are buying into the idea that Pat Gelsinger is going to turn the company around. I have some doubts. We talk about this, though, and I have my doubts, too. Like, I did kind of do a little bit of a surface dive on what he did at VMware. And, for the duration of the VMware period, if you curate it highly enough, it looks like he only made 12% in, 12 years for the company's stock. So, in terms of stock price and wherever it went, VMware essentially was a company that kept doing VMware things. It never grew. And they still are doing VMware things. So, if that is indeed the trajectory for Intel, I'm not so much worried for AMD. So, anyways, really, that is today's video. I might have another video coming up on TRCH. It's a penny stock. One of the homies on the chat wanted me to take a look at it. And, for my loyal subscribers, I will do anything. So I did take a look at Torch. Dove into it for probably an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. Probably way too much time since I got a bunch of crap going on here in the other side of the business world. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you like this video, then yeah, just tell YouTube you liked it. I'm not going to ask you for anything. I have nothing to sell you. That's poor business practice. But I can sell you on the fact that if you're interested in doing something really cool, I am starting an innovation lab. You can't buy your way into it. You can't buy the research. You can only contribute. And then, the reward is basically the research on the back end that everybody contributed to. So if you're interested in that kind of thing and you want more details, email me at kenny@redcliffresearch.com. Not making it easy to join, so you got to want to be there and you got to want to contribute. So, all right. Thanks for watching, and we will talk to you soon. Bye.